Imagine waking up tomorrow and deciding you are completely finished working for a paycheck. You aren't going to earn your money, and you certainly aren't going to invest it. You are going to physically manufacture it. That was the idea that gripped Frank Bourassa. He didn't look like a cartoon villain hiding in a dark basement. He was an exhausted businessman from Quebec who ran a brake company. He dealt with constant pressure and felt the heavy weight of a massive financial system that was always bigger than him. Most people in that situation ask themselves how they can work harder to get ahead. Frank asked a dangerous question. What if he created the wealth himself? To understand this, look at the invisible ingredient holding our financial system together: trust. A fiat bill is just paper and ink. It gains purchasing power solely through our collective belief that the next person will accept it. Frank realized that if the entire economy runs on this illusion of belief, he could bypass the struggle by industrially manufacturing that belief on his own terms. The vast majority of counterfeiters fail quickly. They produce low-quality fakes that feel wrong to the touch and fail basic security checks, leading to an immediate arrest. Frank treated his operation like a legitimate corporate enterprise. He focused on the logistics of a global supply chain and the acquisition of heavy industrial printing presses required for mass production. His most critical decision was the product itself. He ignored the high-stakes $100 bill and chose the mundane, everyday $20 bill. A $100 bill draws scrutiny. A 20 operates below the threshold of human suspicion, passing from hand to hand multiple times a day on pure, unthinking habit. With the product perfected, he established a business-to-business distribution model. He sold the fake cash at a steep discount to other criminals, who then took on the risk of filtering the bills into circulation. At the peak of his operation, the scale of production reached an almost impossible number. He manufactured 12.5 million individual counterfeit $20 notes. By weaponizing the unquestioned normalcy of everyday cash, he built an illegal empire with a face value of $250 million, a stockpile capable of stripping the value from millions of legitimate transactions. But an operation of that size leaves a footprint. By May 2012, authorities finally identified the network and prepared to move in. This was a heavily coordinated raid. Local Quebec police and the RCMP descended on locations tied to the operation, working directly alongside the United States Secret Service. Investigators seized nearly $1 million in fake cash. In the federal system, uncovering $1 million counterfeit dollars is usually the end of the story, carrying a sentence of decades in prison. Yet Frank knew the seized million was only a fraction of his work. He still maintained complete control over a massive inventory, hidden where nobody could find it. Facing the rest of his life behind bars, he used that inventory as a negotiating tool. He offered the location of roughly $200 million in hidden counterfeit notes in exchange for his personal freedom. He used the scale of his own illegal product to force a choice on the international justice system: punish one man or protect the integrity of the streets by taking $200 million out of play. The authorities took the deal. For masterminding a counterfeiting scheme valued at $250 million, Frank Bourassa served roughly 6 weeks in jail. It is easy to look at that outcome and view Frank as a genius who successfully outmaneuvered the system. But that perspective ignores the reality of the crime. Counterfeiting is a predatory fraud that targets the most vulnerable parts of the economy. The victims are the people operating at the ground level. It's the small business owners and the everyday cashiers who unknowingly accept these worthless fake bills during a transaction. The person passing the fake cash walks away with real goods. The moment the fraud is discovered, the innocent citizen is left absorbing the total financial loss. Today, the man responsible for printing millions of fake 20s works as a consultant, advising companies and police departments on how to spot counterfeits and prevent fraud. Frank Bourassa's story reveals a specific vulnerability in how we trade. He bypassed the physical vault of the bank to attack the psychological vault of the system, the everyday, invisible trust we place in a piece of paper.